If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is what they say. Well, it ain't broke, but I'm going to try to make it better.
Welcome to CK4RC.
Welcome back to the channel, CK4RC. This is Chaz. I've got the two Hobby Plus CR18P Evo V2s on the table with the Convoy and the Rock Van. And I've got a handful of upgrades that I'm going to put on these trucks. Because the first thing that we do with RTRs is just start tweaking. So start tweaking the trucks. That's what I meant. So I've got my Torq servo. I've got some Nexx Racing shocks. I've got some 1.3 wheels and some brass rings to go with the 1.3 wheels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these wheels and I'm going to put them on the Convoy. I'm actually going to stick with the stock tires because I actually like them quite a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch, because I kind of like the black chrome wheels on the Convoy. So I'm actually going to take these and switch these over to the Rock Van, because the Rock Van has these plain kind of flat gray plastic and they just don't look that nice. Not nearly as nice as the black chrome. So I'm going to swap those out on the Rock Van. And then I'm going to take these tires off of these wheels and put these on these wheels and put these on the Convoy. It's just a lot of swapping around. And honestly, yes, there's going to be brass wheel rings in here, but this is more cosmetic than anything. I guess they are metal wheels versus the plastic, so they're going to add weight. So there is a performance benefit there as well. Now I've got the black Nexx Racing shocks with reservoirs. These are going to go on the Convoy. And then I've got the blue Nexx Racing shocks without the reservoir. And these are going to go on the Rock Van, because blue's going to go with blue. And then I'm going to stick with black with all of the black on the Convoy. So that just makes sense. And then the Torq servo I got, this is the all metal black case with the metal servo horn, the black metal servo horn in there as well. So that is going to look nice on the Convoy, and this will be a significant upgrade over the stock servo. Although I haven't had any issues with the stock servo, it's still a stock servo, so we'll go ahead and we'll upgrade that, because that's what we do in the hobby. So that's what we're looking at today. That's what we're working with. I'm going to just throw things at these guys and come back and show you how it turned out, and then we'll drive them around a little bit. So let me get to work, and I'll be back in just a minute. So I went ahead and stripped the wheels and tires off the Convoy. I actually robbed them because I put these on the Rock Van, and as you see here, I went ahead and went with some upgraded 1.3 wheels, but I stuck with the stock tires because they're really pretty good. So with these, I went with brass inserts for the front. I went with aluminum inserts for the rear, just to get a little bit more weight bias up front. But with these being metal, they're going to add more weight at all four corners. So that is going to be a great upgrade. Now I'm going to get in here. I'm going to take off these stock big bore oil shocks that came from Hobby Plus. These are really good, by the way. We've got a nut on the back side that I overlooked, so no harm, no foul right there. That's a real nice, easy, simple fix. Make sure I don't lose any of the hardware, because that can be super annoying. Now, if I want to measure and see if this is going to be a performance upgrade or a cosmetic upgrade, I've got my calipers here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go the middle of the eye to the middle of the eye. I'm looking at right at 49 millimeters. Yep. Middle to middle, 49 millimeters for the stock big bore oil-filled shocks, and then the Nexx shocks, Nexx Racing. I'll do the same thing here. And yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a performance upgrade here because these are looking more like 52 millimeter. Yeah, these are right at 52. So we're going to get a good 3 millimeter upgrade, get a little bit more flex out of the old suspension on the Convoy moving forward. I am going to have to swap out some of the ball joints here because, as you can see, the spacer is built into this ball joint, but the Nexx Racing shocks don't have that. So I'm just going to have to swap out some of these ball joints real quick, and we'll keep working. And that will be a pretty simple thing to do. So no problems there. Let's see how the front ones come off and see if there's going to be any necessary work there. Okay, no spacer on the front, at least the top of the front. And then I think, actually, the bottom, you don't even have to unscrew because that's all one screw link thing. So yeah, that's it. You just take it and wiggle it and pop it loose off of that ball end. And then take the new one. I'm going to go ahead and attach the top first and get that locked in place where I need it to be. Oh, that was not very smooth. We're going to go ahead and have, nope, not even going to use that shock right now. I'm going to have the reservoir facing rear just because I think for me, aesthetically, that is my preference. Now, I'm having a really hard time getting this started. I don't know why. Probably just because I am me. Goodness gracious. It's okay. Everything's fine. And then I didn't remove the ball end that was already on here. So I'm just going to take some needle nose pliers. I'm going to pop this ball end out of here. Get that started there. And then I'll just take it and take my needle nose pliers and I'll just pop that right back on there. I'm having a hard time doing this on camera, so I'm actually going to stop the video so that way I can focus on what I'm doing and stop dropping everything all over the place. So that's going to be my plan. When I come back, I'm going to have the front and the rear shocks back on here, and it's going to be just like this. And there we go. We are back in business. Went ahead and got the front wheel mounted up there as well, just so you can kind of see what the look is going to be. Let me drop that body down. Yeah, that's going to look real good. And the black Nexx Racing shocks look way better than the red anodized capped oil shocks that came with it. So got the front mounted up, got the rear mounted up. I did go ahead and I changed the angle on the rear. Thought about changing the angle on the front too, but then I just honestly I didn't feel like moving the shock mount because the frame is not threaded. So that's why there are nuts back here for the rear shocks. The front has the plastic shock towers, so you don't need the nuts because they screw directly into the threaded plastic shock towers, but the back are not like that. So full disclosure, the ball joint that comes from the stock shock that has the spacer built into it did not work for me. The top hole is a little bit, the diameter is a little bit too big. So it did not work. So I just kept the stock ball end that's in here. And I had to dig around in my parts. I came up with a couple spacers to offset and get it away from the chassis a little bit. So that way it's still lined up nice and straight up and down. There's not going to be any binding with that. So just full disclosure, heads up, I did have to come up with my own spacers to be able to get this shock mounted correctly, but it is done. So I'm going to go ahead and mount up this rear tire real quick. There we go. I did go ahead and decide to use the gray center caps, the center hub cap things, because it just gives the wheels just a little bit more of a finished look. Without having that, it just looks like this. It just looks like that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't you think that looks better? I do. So I'm done with one side. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this other side, and then I'll come back and start working on ripping this servo out of here and getting it swapped out with the good old Torq servo. So that's going to be the plan. I'll get that taken care of. And yeah, then we'll come back and start taking this guy out. So here we go. The shocks are done and good to go. I did have to flip around the back ones because of the shape in the bed. It wasn't allowing the body post to seat all the way in order for me to clip it shut. So with that done, I'm going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, get rid of the servo, and mount up the mountless Torq servo. Okay, I did have to swap around the steering links because the servo horn was mounted on the left side of the stock servo as you're looking at it, and the Torq servo, it's mounted on the right side as you look at it. So just had to swap around the steering links real quick and just get it to line up with the steering horn. Got my wheels and my tires back on, and this thing, other than the loosey-goosey flip-floppy battery that I got to get figured out and get the center hubcaps back on, but see how it looks? It just looks a little unfinished this way, and this one back here, it just looks better. So that is why I'm putting these back on. I'm definitely not putting them back on because they're convenient. They are not convenient at all. They are kind of a pain in the butt, but they really just give that finishing touch that I really want for this truck. So get them centered on there, we get them started a little bit, and then I just take my needle nose pliers and just kind of finish twisting them and tighten them on. It's probably not real good for the plastic itself, but there we go. I have Nexx Racing shocks, I have a Torq mountless servo, I have new wheels with more weight. This convoy was already a performer to begin with, and now it is ready to rock. And speaking of ready to rock, I do have my rock van with my Nexx Racing shocks, and I went ahead and put the black chrome wheels from the convoy onto the Hobby Plus rock van just to make it look a little bit nicer. And I do have those center caps in there, again, just for that little finishing touch. But now that I'm looking at this rock van, I think I could do a little bit better. A monster or rock monster van. How about that? Let me get these switched out and I'll be right back. Yeah, if you have monster truck tires laying around and you don't just put them on your vehicle and check it out, then what are you even doing with your life? Look at the rock van, the monster van now. Oh, buttery smooth suspension, some nice overinflated tires. These are straight from my FMS Smasher. I replaced those tires with something a little bit bigger. And so I decided, hey, why not use them here? Get a little bit more height off the stock tires. If you can see kind of the difference here, you're getting a pretty decent difference there. And they are about a third wider as well. So that's probably not going to feel real good on the stock servo, and definitely going to get some more body rub that I was already noticing to begin with. But hey, how cool does that look? Yeah. You see this thing coming at you? That's awesome. That might be worth trimming up the fenders a little bit more for, make this work, because good night. That's a winner. And in the span of about 30 minutes, I was able to do a servo swap in the convoy and a full set, 2-set changeroo of some shocks. So with that, we're going to do a quick bench test over here. We've got the rock van transmitter and the convoy transmitter. And if you're like me, you can see the specs on the Torq package, or on any servo package for that matter. And you can see what numbers look better, but maybe you don't know how to apply those numbers in a real world setting. And that is the difference in those numbers. That's the speed of the Torq servo versus the speed of the stock servo, which is pretty good and impressive in its own right. But if you're going to upgrade, something that fast and responsive is a solid upgrade to go with. Now, test number 2, I'm going to take these. I'm going to stick the back tires off of the silicone work mat, and I'm going to grab this front tire, and I'm going to turn. And we're going to see what kind of strength the stock servo brings. It's not doing anything. Those wheels are not turning. I'm just holding them straight. So you can see the turn signals are on, and it's just not doing anything. Okay. Moving on to the Torq servo. Now, I will also note that while both of these are still on the stock tires, the Convoy does have the metal wheels on there, so there's a little bit more added weight. Grab a tire, and oh, I am not holding these tires. It just kicked the rock band transmitter right off the workbench. Wow. That is a strong servo. And you can see I was holding that tire. It's deformed now. That's where I was holding it, and I didn't properly vent the wheel. So the tire, I definitely had a good grip on it, which is clear because the whole rear end of the truck was kicking side to side. So there's a quick bench test for you just to show you the difference between stock versus upgrade. So there we have it with some really quick and simple upgrades. Swapped out a servo. I swapped out 2 sets of shocks in the span of about 30 minutes. Slapped on some really nice upgrade wheels, metal wheels for the Convoy. And I got a little crazy and I went ahead, well, I was going to upgrade, just cosmetically upgrade the wheels on the rock van. And then I just went crazy and I went full on upgrade on the rock van. So now I've got the rock monster van, and there's a good chance it's going to be staying this way. I'm just going to have to trim up the body because there's a little bit more body rub now with these big old gargantuan monster truck tires on there. But I have a feeling this thing with these tires and Nexx Racing oil shocks on there in second gear, look out, mama. You know what I mean? Mama, watch out. I don't know what that means. But that's what we got. That's going to wrap up the video for today. If I get a chance, I'll send this off a couple quick jumps and just show you what it looks like in action. I'm not going to be able to do a full-on run, but I don't want to tease you and not show you the goods, so I'll do that. But best way to support the channel before we log off, hit the quadfecta for me before you go. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. You can also become a channel member and get access to exclusive content. And also make sure that you support the partners for the channel as well. Only RCs, I've got a discount code down below. You can copy and paste that, save 20%. Crawler Tracks, I've got a discount code. You can save 10%. Hobby Plus, right here, I've got a discount code. You can save 10% with an affiliate link. I also have an affiliate link for Direct RC and Amazon. So those are all the best ways to support the channel. Keep doing RC stuff, and I'll see you next time. Big time thank you to my members and channel partners, and if you would like to join the ranks, click on that join button for exclusive content, never before seen videos, early access to videos, and other exclusive content, pictures, polls, and having an active voice in what comes next on the channel. So appreciate the support, click on that join button, and thank you so much to the channel members.